We're live. Hello there. I'm Mitch Goldberg. Cheers. You're watching my live stream. Be the boss of your money. It's all about taking control of your money because money can take control of you very easily. Where'd all the money go? How'd it go out? How did I spend so much? You get a bill, you get your credit card bill, whether if you paid off or not. Hope you do. But the point is, you don't even know how you went through all the money. It's just like you've got to be so self-conscious or so self-conscientious, so self-aware of your spending. You might come off cheap, a little nuts. Now, some people are very hold on a second. Some people are very vocal about it, like, you know, the windows cost this, the sneakers cost that. I kind of think it's better to keep it. You don't have to announce everything. I mean, with me, if you're my friend and you with me, that's okay. But it's just you've got to really be conscientious about your spending. Uh, you could either make more money or spend less if you want to improve your financial situation. The third thing you could do is you could invest. That's the third thing. But that takes a long time for results to come out. We, that's why people go for quick money. They're just going to jump on crypto and make a ton of money, or they're going to jump on the hot tech stock, the pandemic stock, and make money fast. That is not really investing. That's people who want results now. Uh, the faster the faster you want your results when it comes to investing, the more risk you're taking. And it's just for the simple fact that over the short term, there's more volatility. You take the most solid blue chip stock, they fluctuate. This is why often when I buy a blue chip stock, let's say I want to buy 100 shares, I might buy 40 right now at the market and put an order in for 30 shares, 3% below what I paid, and another 30 shares for 6% below what I paid. Just because I'm going to capture some fluctuations. It's rare for me personally that I buy a stock and it just goes straight up and never looks back. Stocks always fluctuate. Now, sometimes you do hit a short term market bottom like we had a few weeks ago, and everything has taken off since then. But those are not the norm. I think those are the exceptions. Whether if you use limit orders or not, that's not the point. The point is when you want to do better with your investments, you want more. You want less. You want to be you want to be impacted less by volatility. You lengthen your time horizon. So we're going to talk about investing in general, things like that. We'll talk about the market real quick. I do have to get going. So here's the intro. Stick around. Hey, you're watching? Give us a thumbs up, please. A heart, an applause, a wow, whatever reaction is available to you, depending on which social media platform you're watching on. And if you have any questions, that's what the comments are for. I love hearing from you. It's the best part about what I do. So let's roll the intro. We're going to talk about investing and an important question that it was asked to me by an actual real life client. Here we go. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'm Mitch Goldberg. We're just getting started. You're watching Be the Boss of Your Money. Question from a client. Do you think it would be a good idea if we take a little more risk, if we allocate a higher percentage of the portfolio to assets that are riskier, like specifically stocks, in order to earn a higher return? And, when people ask me a question, they're usually asking for a yes or a no. And I usually answer with, it depends. And people don't like that answer. They don't like it. Well, sometimes they do. I think they appreciate it. Some people appreciate it. It's because it makes you think. Why? What for? Why do you want to take more risk? Or in some cases, why do you want to take less risk? So the answer depends on your goals, your time horizon. Let's talk about that. You have a goal. I mean, the most popular goal is always retirement. We're investing for our retirement. But one thing I have to say is when, retirement is a particular date and time, on June 30th of 2035, I want to retire. But what after? Shouldn't a goal be to sustain your income in retirement and, you know, sustain your portfolio in retirement? Aren't those better goals than just say, I'm investing for retirement? But people want simple, I think overly simplistic answers because it's easy to think about them. So when a person today, real life question, not necessarily wanting to add more risk, but thinking out loud, would it be a good idea? And my answer is it depends. Okay. Do you want more risk? Is your time horizon still as long as we thought? We're in a bear market now. If you took more risk before the bear market and you were down a lot more now than you are, how would you feel about that? You know, do you have enough money that you're really more concerned about preserving what you have because you already made your money in your lifetime? These are all the questions that come into play when someone wants to take more risk. Uh, Now I get it. Sometimes people want to take a flyer. They, let me just put a little bit of money into that crypto. Let me put a little bit of money into this biotech stock I heard about. Those are called bets, BETS, like gambling. They're gambling bets. And if you could afford it, and that's something that you would enjoy doing, you'd get a kick out of it. You don't have time to rent to Vegas or Atlantic City. You could certainly do that. I'm not the type to say, oh no, you can never bet, you can never speculate. Some people enjoy a gamble. Who am I to knock? My concern is, uh, my concern is who's doing the betting, the gambling. Now, I do have some clients of like, oh, absolutely not, don't do it. Maybe they might do it elsewhere and not tell me about it, but that's okay. It's their business. And I have some clients I could say, you want to gamble away 50 grand, you can certainly afford it. But does it stop at that, or is it a 50 here, a 50 there? Before you know it, you're sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars of gambles, none of which will ever pay off, or most likely all of it will fail. It really depends. So let's talk about that. I say it depends. Let's talk about that. Let me ask you a question, and then I start into the whole conversation. And I generally hope that people have the time to hear it, but a lot of times people just want that quick hit. The goal, retirement. It's like such a incomplete goal. Retirement is not a day. I have a goal of retirement. Well, you don't retire one day and that's the end of it. You live after that. A lot of people could spend as many years in retirement as they did in their working years, or very close to it. So it's a serious question. It's not just investing for retirement, it's investing to sustain yourself through retirement. And a lot of you are going to realize that I still have to work at something. I still need a place to go. Not only is working good for you, but it also, when you're working, you're probably not spending money. There are a lot of reasons why people are working today at 75, not necessarily because they'll have to. Um, I work with one gentleman who's almost 80, and he is in dynamite shape. He can easily afford to never work a day in his life, and he's been able to afford that for many, many years. He likes to work. It's what he likes to do. It's what he does. It's what keeps him alive, what keeps him going. All right, so that's a real life question. Let's see how the market did today, okay? Let's take a look at a couple of things. Let me just make the screen a little bit bigger. Okay. Here we go. So the Dow, let me take these social media icons off the screen. Okay, they're off. All right, so the Dow off 80, big deal. NASDAQ off 97, less than 1%. Doesn't really grab me. It doesn't get my attention so much. S&P off 16 points. Gold was up a drop, still in mid 1600s, no big deal. It's been traded like 1800 to 2000. Now it's like 1600s. Gold just never seems to go up, even though they say it's an inflation hedge, so it doesn't go up. Oil had a nice up day, up a buck 89. There's a war going on, so anything can happen. 10-year yield is back down to 4.05. We could actually see the 10-year go below 4 again pretty quickly. It's very close, obviously. And the VIX, 25. Even though the averages were down today, so you'd expect the VIX to go up. The VIX still came down. It just goes to show you that investors are very comfortable thinking that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates at their meeting tomorrow. It's a 2-day meeting, today and tomorrow. Tomorrow it ends. That they're going to raise interest rates, federal funds rate, by 0.75 of a point. It's widely expected it'll be their fourth 0.75 point increase in a row. And then their December meeting, they'll raise by 0.5 point. And the next meeting, not January, the Fed doesn't meet monthly, by the way, it meets every 6 weeks. The next meeting will be in February 1st. They're expected to raise 0.25 point there. Then the March meeting, 0.25 point. You put that all together, they should be at 5% on the Fed funds rate. 5%. That's expected to be the terminal rate. Investors are starting to get comfortable with that. And if they could sense an end to interest rate hikes, then they could sense stocks going back up. They could get comfortable investing again. And we've seen this scenario play out a few times, only to get the rug pulled out from under us. But at least now, I mean, it's looking like a very real possibility. Now, the caveat is inflation might not come down, and the Fed says, now you've got to raise to a terminal rate of 6% or more. We shall see. We need to see the market come down a little bit. Friday is the Department of Labor employment, the big employment numbers. So we'll see how that is. That's going to be the employment numbers for the month of October. All right, let's take a look at interest rates. Let's take a look at the bond market. Interest rates were mostly higher on the short end. The 1 year, the 2 year, 3 year were slightly up. 10-year was off a little bit. The long rates were down a little bit. That tells you something, that inflation expectations maybe are not so anchored amongst big money, institutional money. And last but not least, oh wait, did I even show you this? Let's put this on the screen. I like you to see what I'm looking at. So this, the 1 year to the 7-year rates are up slightly. So the short end was more up, even though the rates were down a tiny bit on the short end. But you could get a 4.6% rate, annualized rate, on a 6-month T-bill. That doesn't mean you put $100,000 in a 6-month T-bill and in 3 months, in 6 months, you get 4.6%. You get more like 2.3% because, in 6 months. It's an annualized basis, just so you guys understand that. And Advanced Micro Devices, they missed on earnings and they missed on revenue. The stock had already been tanked from 164, mother of mercy, from 164 down to 60. But they missed. They missed earnings, revenues. Not a great forecast going forward. I just saw the news come by, just read it. And yet the stock is up $1 and change after market. When stocks stop going down on bad news, that's generally a bullish sign. And believe me, AMD is a very important stock in the market, very highly owned, well-regarded company, but very owned by investors. Okay, so that's what's going on. So there's really not much to talk about, except we have to get through this week, and that will basically determine the rest of the year. So I thank you for watching. Remember, when you make an investment decision, more risk, less risk, more money in the market, less money in the market, make sure it's based on the right reasons. Your risk tolerance, your time horizon, the important things that we talk about here on the show all the time. Don't make it based on this stock is $200. It could go to $250 really fast. I'm basing my decision on that. Because if the shit hits the fan and the stock doesn't work out, then you have to live with that stock and you have to understand why you're holding it. And generally speaking, you weren't holding the stock because you think it's a good company that'll make you money down the road. You bought it because you expected a short-term trade over the near term. Once the trade doesn't work out, then you have to justify you have to justify holding on to it, even though you really should have sold it already. Okay, that's my story. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.